Hi world, Martin here on the Only Vans Guru channel. And boy, did I stick a big stick in the hornet's nest last week when I mentioned Universal Credit and the start of myself documenting what I may be able to get. And I'm going to have to be really careful so I don't trigger. It was a 50-50 split, I'd say, on comments. Those people saying absolutely, and I will use the word that triggers the other side, grab what you're entitled to. And I understand the word entitled has some really powerful connotations. And then the other camp, which is you lazy, sponging, work-shy git. Now, obviously, for those who've been following for a while, I have a really chilled existence. But I'm going to read some of the comments out. It wasn't just on the YouTube channel here. I also posted it on a VANLIFE UK Facebook group. And wow, hundreds of comments. Some of them unbelievably vitriolic and full of hatred. And I understand how we're all molded by the media, and we see people claiming benefits all their lives. And trust me, having been a paramedic, I've seen people who've spent their entire lives, in fact, second, third generation people, who are just milking the system. But I digress. This is one of my favorite roads. This tree canopy in May is just sublime, but in autumn it is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to find a little park up and we'll talk at length. And let's get this out in the open. That's why I decided I would document it. And I may not get anything. I might not be entitled to anything, and I may not hit any of the criteria. And although I said it was about universal credit, and I'm educating myself also on what PIP is, because I don't know these things existed. I've not lived in this life. But I will answer the negative critique is, why don't you just go out there and get a fucking job? Nice, all right? You could say that a little bit more understandingly and calmly. I am a guy who has worked since he was 13. I used to get up at 3:30 in the morning. I held 6 paper rounds during the summer holidays. I have always worked, and I'm not claiming because I believe I'm entitled to all that hard graft. The fact that as an NHS employer, I'm putting 1/3 of my wages into taxation, and that's not including then tax on fuel, heating, living. Right? It's not that I'm entitled to it. It's that right now I've been through so much, I genuinely find interaction with the workplace extremely challenging, and need that support to get through this period without being a burden and then needing to claim housing benefit and all of those other costs. So whether you agree with me or not, right, if you're in a worse, and some people have written some beautiful soliloquies about what they've been through. And yes, you are more than entitled to it. But it doesn't stop me finding out. And if I get anything or nothing, then this is a purpose of education. It's what the internet is for. So let me get to this park up, and then we'll go through some of the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. And I will just give you why I believe it's a process that's worth investigating for me. I will hit on some terms and topics that maybe a lot of boomers, including myself, or go, not that one. So I'm going to try and stay away from labels and just explain why I'm in the situation I'm in, why van life works for me. I am not work shy, but I do have a set of capabilities that severely make me a problem in a workplace. So sacked from the NHS, sacked from a housing association where, because of the nature of my job, my inability to focus, I make monumental mistakes. Now, you might go, hang on, you're a paramedic. I can hyper focus at best for about an hour, normally for 20 minutes. There you go. Right, let me enjoy this drive. This is England, its weather, and van life, especially full-time van life. At its best, the greens are exploding in their vibrancy. All right, stay tuned. And, you know, in these comments, if you still absolutely disagree, put your point across. Don't swear. Don't be rude. All right, I will engage with all comments. But as soon as someone is actually rude towards me or unkind, I mean, it's water off my back, I will just delete and block, because this is about being mindful, kind to yourself, kind to those around you. And quite frankly, I'm too old to put up with people's hatred. Bit of an IT issue there, ran out of space. So yes, that's the mental health side. Okay, and there's no sympathy wanted, and also no bigoted comments. Through some amazing therapy, an amazing breakdown, I was then able to become the best version of myself, and I still run with it, and I'm very open about it. I think people find it hard because I'm eloquent, very fast. Some people say, oh, you're lucky, you've got a high IQ, but really that's more of a bugbear when you have a high IQ, maths and comprehension, and then you're plagued with this 3 distinct personalities that fuck everything up. On top of that, due to the one and only COVID shot that I was bullied into taking in the NHS, 2 days after that I developed right-sided tinnitus, which I have constantly, which is a high-pitched squeal, and really did affect my ability to focus, concentrate, and listen to people. That is just really annoying. Okay, so let's compound that, and this really isn't a sob story, because I'm happy being me. And then we have the back that gave in, which robbed me of being a frontline paramedic, and then obviously me being me, absolutely didn't cope being in headquarters and in 4 walls. So the personality got in the way of that. So chronic back pain most days, and then 2 years ago foot pain and knee pain. So let's face those elephants in the room, shall we? Let's go for the negative comments about it, and I agree with like 99% of them. People saying, rightly, you don't want to be posting these walking videos on YouTube if you're going for PIP or Universal Credit. But that's it, I have nothing to hide. This morning I have taken an extensive amount of caffeine tablets, ibuprofen, paracetamol. I put Voltarol on my ankles and my knees so that I can come out and walk. I go to the gym. I can only run on a treadmill, and it takes 15 minutes of walking before I can start to jog, and I jog at a pace of 7.3 to 7.4 kph. Yeah, go figure that one out. Again, I take that pain relief because I don't want to give in. I don't want to stop trying to be fit. All right, and I can maybe do that 2 days in a row, and then I am pretty much bushwhacked and my mind gives up, and I then spend 1 to 3 days just couched on the sofa. Or my latest is going, oh, excuse me, or my just errors on the video card there. My latest will be going while swimming, dipping for 10 to 15 minutes a day, which really helps with the knee pain and the muscular pain. So it's not that I don't want to do stuff, and I really hope this YouTube channel takes off. I'm about 100 hours away now from it being monetized, and it won't bring in much, but if my YouTube channel brought in a couple of hundred a month, that on top of my very minimal pension, I wouldn't claim, I wouldn't do it. But at the moment I'm on less money than I need to live, and I get people saying, well, go get a job, but I can't. Right? There's not many jobs where you can then phone in and say, I can't come in today. I just cannot do it. And if you don't understand and apprehend that, if you've never been like this, I'm not going to convince you. Right, world, let's try this again. Oh, no face detected. Maybe because I'm in too much shade. There we go. I had it on 4K 50 frames and it's saying the card wasn't good enough, tech issues. So I've changed the resolution to 2.7K and 24 frames, and that should be wonderful. Where were we? So we're talking about work, talking about my health, which would be a great moment to say, if you like my mindful approach to living and to looking at the system and being really open and honest and not allowing negativity to crop in, because that saps your happiness, the thumbs up now and that subscribe and that little notification, okay, because that would really help. And you know, for all the naysayers who are talking about there are people more worthy of it, imagine this: if you subscribed, right, and watched my content, then I wouldn't be claiming, would I? So the onus is on you to watch my back catalogue on here and know that you're saving the government some money. Martin, you clever clogs. Let's find somewhere to sit and we can look at some of these comments. There were some really nice ones on Facebook. One guy did a few bullet points about what his views were of my take on it, and it was really nice that I agreed with it in principle. I answered them bullet by bullet, and you know, even though it was a disagreement over why, that's how we should have this discourse, that you can have these debates without any mudslinging, name calling, because there's so much of that, isn't there? We've become a really polarised society all around politics. One side using all the names under the sun to call people one phobe or another, and the other side actually not engaging and not talking back because it gets tiresome. Right, I'm going to see if I can sit under this tree and I'll get the laptop out and we will discuss this. And by the way, the update is a week's time I have my interview with Universal Credit, the first one, to discuss, you know, and I'm hiding nothing. You know, it's just, I marvel that people go, oh yeah, but you're doing all these walks. Yeah, so maybe I'll do a video next week and it'll be 24 hours of me under the duvet, if that's what you think I should do. Oh, this is nice and soft. Hello. There we go. Oh, let's see. I've got, hello, let's make sure it's me. It's me. Righty. So I'm going to talk about some of the Facebook ones first. I won't read you out by name, but loved like this. I don't get the vitriol. Why can't people be kind or be silent? None of us know this gent or his circumstance. We are a marginalised community and need to be supportive of each other. And that was an underlying trend. Whereas someone wrote van life and claiming off the state. And they were like, And I don't get that. Just because I live in a van, I'm no less entitled to these bits than if I was in bricks and mortar. Anonymous participant 948. Everyone's situation is unique and depends on their circumstances or support network. All this morality and philosophy is after the fact. You find your situation, whether by luck or hard work, and surround yourself with the appropriate justifications. And yeah, I'm in the van. Having worked so hard and having everything taken away on numerous occasions, I just wanted to have it a little bit easier for me. I wanted then as well to explore. And again, some of you will come in and go, well, if you just want to go and have a jolly, you don't deserve the money. I've got no comeback for that one, all right? Other than I know I'm trying my best right now. And whilst I'm building up this YouTube channel, which will hopefully keep me on the road, thumb and like up, and my podcast, I just need a little help. Otherwise, it's going to be back into bricks and mortar and I'm going to cost the state even more money. Oh, this person, and this was on that negative side. So, Mr. So-and-so said, or people could just go to work, or, but what the heck, what do I know? I just don't get that. I really don't. Especially after I had explained things. It really is. So, lady wrote, I'm not sure how Universal Credit works, but but as a self-employed single mum of two, we wouldn't survive without it. Do you work and get it as a top-up? No, I don't have a job at the moment. My business, before I went on the road, went bankrupt. I really tried hard after the NHS to make this business work, the one that I had as a hypnotherapist. And it just got harder and harder. And then I'm going through bankruptcy. I've sold so much stuff to pay off bills and debts. And I've got nothing now. But again, I'm not after sadness. Amy, I see no problem with it as you're not claiming any housing benefit, just living in your van, so saving them money really. Yes, I am saving them a shed load. Onto YouTube from last week. A new subscriber, thank you. It's not easy being ill in a van for sure. This person, they said they broke their hip 2 years ago, couldn't go back to the van and it took them 7 months to replace it. I feel for you, I really do. Luckily, friends put them up and their dogs. Now they've got osteoporosis and just had a partial nephrectomy 6 weeks ago. They're on basic PIP and in a bungalow now, so they know what I mean about filming the good days. All right, so Freebird, thanks for your comment. That really means so much. Let's go down. Whoa, I touched the wrong button. Yeah, here's another one that affects me. I'm on Universal Credit, but because of pension I received from my late wife's public sector pension fund, I'm not entitled to be paid it. Yeah, so I've had that. I think my allowance on Universal Credit is 380, but I get 520, 530 off my pension, so I won't get it. But I'm looking at the PIP side to help me over the next few months. Another YouTube one. Good luck. My back does exactly the same. I have a good day and then one laid up. I try to pace myself, but I'm not very good at listening to my body. Same here, buddy, young lady. And they do get benefit for it. I suspect your honesty won't do you any favours. No, I don't suppose it will, but I can't lie. I'm not going to lie. And I've put this on the channel so that other people can be aware. They can look at my mental approach to things and my mobility and lack of it at times, and draw their own conclusions. There's a really hard-hitting one here, but I will read it out. I have stage 4 cancer and had to get Macmillan nurses to chase up the job centre to get my limited capability for work and work-related activity. I started getting an extra amount of 400 for that for about 4 months after my claim. It makes the difference between struggling and managing. I'll be getting my state pension in July, so my universal credit will stop then. And that's another reason for me highlighting what I'm doing, right? And as I say, I'm not expecting to get anything, but for people to read the comments and this be a repository for understanding, so that if you're in a place, you'll learn. And Shay, apply for PIP, mate, can take ages. Defo get limited work capability. Maybe register as homeless. Get on a waiting list for housing. All helps in keeping Universal Credit pit bulls at bay. Universal Credit might pay for campsite fees because they pay if you are on the cut. Universal Credit are not nice people. Yeah, I get that, you know. They're all individuals. We're all nice people unless we choose to be bastards. Will's Van Life. Hi, Martin. Good morning. Just as an aside, there's a link in my channel banner for Will's Van Life. Go and have a look at that. Someone else, you've paid in, so no shame in collecting it. Well, that's my point. I paid, you know, I'd look at my pay slip in the NHS and back at me, a third of it on tax and national insurance, a third. Right. Clustered nomads, thank you. PIP, you can claim no matter what your income is. Even the millionaire David Cameron claimed it for his disabled son when he was PM. It's based on how your condition affects you. So the fact you're in bed 2 days a week, unable to do simple tasks, you're entitled to it. Yeah, I'll record those. So I just wanted to go through that. I wanted to cover where we're going. I wanted to answer the pros and the cons. The people who were less than positive. But I get it. I do understand it. And I've had those thoughts myself when I've worked in healthcare, but only to people who have been on it their entire lives. So I understand. I understand what we see affects how we think, and why you might think, oh, look at him. He's out here living the life of Riley. There you go. And I'm not putting, oh, hang on, the camera's not facing me. Sorry about that. So there you go. And sitting down like that doesn't help. Hello, me. Right, let's get back to the van and sit down. That back twinge, I just want to address that because I've had DMs about it. People saying, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So I've had CTs, MRIs. I've been to osteopaths, sports physios. I've tried various diets and supplements. And being a hypnotherapist as well, I've had hypnosis to blank out the pain. Right? It's just pain. There's nothing structurally wrong. I just have chronic back pain. It doesn't get me down. I've come to terms with it. I think when you work in acute medicine and you see people far worse off than you could ever be, you accept it. It holds me back, but that's all. However, I still practice doing the plank. I'm still active in some of the physical goals I've set myself this year. I just can't do heavy lifting. And when I sit still and then get up, it really twinges. So I just thought I'd bring that into the fold. Again, I don't want sympathy for it. Because look, a day like now, on a good day, I'm out and I feel truly blessed. Right? And maybe I will do a negative video in the coming weeks of not getting out of bed, even when it's lovely, to keep the naysayers at bay. All right, look at this. I've got all of this to myself. There is not a soul around. Isn't this wonderful? So what I am going to do in a minute is find a tree to myself to sit under. I'm going to go and hug a tree and just have a happy moment. Listen to the birds. Listen to the passage of time. There's a really good quote about that. Jimmy Carr being interviewed on a podcast. And I think the question was, what makes you happy? And for him, I think I try and quote it, to appreciate the passage of time. And it's true, isn't it? I mean, this last few weeks in the UK, the weather's been gorgeous. And I hope it stays like this, because week's time, I travel up Hull again. Just a little update. It's Martin's funeral. And I've been honoured to be one of the pallbearers, along with all of his ex-army mates. That's a privilege. And it'll be a celebration. He lived, he created, he built. And that's why sometimes people like me with this mindset, when things don't go to plan, you go, yeah, but I'm still alive. I still have this gift. Hopefully another 20, 30 years of positivity, of sharing the collective wisdom as we grow older. And that's why I like engaging with people on my Calming Anxiety podcast, but also now here, sort of building up a little community of like-minded people. And I don't mind a debate. I've never shied away from a debate. And for those of you, if this process shows that there's nothing to be claimed, okay, you may gloat, all right? This wasn't about me wanting to take money and sit back and turn up at 8:30 outside Wetherspoons for a couple of pints and a cheap breakfast. This is about trying to not get back into having to have bricks and mortar, and then the massive cost, and then the absolute crippling stress that would cause. I would like nothing better than not to claim. Right? I am this morning, right now, 100 watch hours away from being monetized on YouTube. Right? Last week's video, the first one about Universal Credit, I just got to say thank you to all the new people who watched that. Anyone interested in YouTube analytics, it was watched 6,700 times as of recording this right now. It gained almost 350 watch hours, 200 new people a view. Hit that sub button, which just blew me away. And let's contextualize this. I've crunched the numbers because I like numbers when I can. If the channel was monetized now, you want to know how much I'd be making a month? £20. 20 whole quid. Have a great week, everyone. I'm going to be doing some more wild swimming off into the river, and that's after I've found a spot to meditate and be mindful in. Thank you. As I say, comments, pros and cons, just you know, if you're a YouTube troll away, I'll just delete it. But I will engage with people who vehemently disagree with where I'm at. Oh, too much sun there. There you go. By the way, what do you think of the new start? I got bored. I got playing with the beard the other night because I wanted to go into the water, and it was like I might plait these individual bits, but it's getting there. Righty, have a lovely day. Truly, feel free, please. Oh, shut up. I'm just loving this. It's just so wonderful. And I think that's the beauty now, is grabbing the moment, truly being happy about these small moments. And self-discovery is that when I have those dips, I know they're not going to last. And they aren't. They're awful. But I haven't put them up because I didn't want close friends and family to worry. Like I say, one day I'll do a whole open bit, but I just need to wait for the right moment about that. And then some of you will go, ah, or you'll have a friend, family member, colleague who has a similar sort of personality, and hopefully it will give you a better understanding of how they process the world around them, and they're not trying to be a dick on purpose. Truly, it's, how can I put it? How can I leave it? I think and say things without my core self realizing they're being done. Okay? Not schizophrenic. I just have three distinct sort of consciousnesses within my personality. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm at peace and harmony with who I am now. Would I like to be, I think, normal? God, yes. There you go. It's a lovely day. Shut up. See you all Sunday. Bye.